Imagine two students preparing for the exact same physics exam. One spends the entire week memorizing equations. The other spends the week understanding how things move. Who do you think walks out with the better grade? If you pick the student who studied longer, you're about to discover the biggest mistake almost every physics student makes. Because physics isn't a subject where more hours automatically mean better results. In fact, studying physics the way most schools teach it can actually make you learn slower. Top students aren't smarter. They've simply discovered something most students never learn. I'll show you the exact system that helps you understand difficult physics concepts faster, remember them longer, and solve unfamiliar problems with confidence. Let's be honest. Physics has a reputation for being one of the hardest subjects in school. Just hearing the word makes some students nervous. But here's something surprising. Physics isn't difficult because it's impossible. It feels difficult because most students learn it backwards. Think about how most people study. Open the textbook. Highlight everything. Memorize the formulas. Hope the exam asks the exact same questions. And for a while, it actually feels like you're making progress. Until the exam gives you one unfamiliar problem. Suddenly every formula you've memorized seems to disappear. Not because you're bad at physics, but because your brain never understood when to use those formulas. Here's the truth. Physics is not about remembering equations. It's about understanding what nature is trying to tell you. Every equation is simply a shortcut. A tiny sentence describing how the real world behaves. The problem is, schools often teach you the shortcut before teaching you the story. Imagine trying to memorize every line of Google Maps, instead of simply understanding where you're going. So in this video, we're going to reverse that process. You'll learn the story first, then the formulas, and finally, you'll know exactly when to use them. Before I show you the fastest way to study physics, you need to understand something that completely changed the way neuroscientists think about learning. Your brain isn't a hard drive. It doesn't save information like files inside a folder. It builds networks. Every time you learn something new, your brain asks one question. What do I already know that connects to this? The more connections you create, the easier your brain can find that memory later. This is why simply memorizing formulas almost always fails. A formula by itself is just one lonely piece of information. But connect that same formula to a moving car, a shopping cart, or someone pushing a box, and suddenly your brain has multiple paths back to the answer. That's exactly how top students remember difficult concepts. They don't memorize more. They connect more. And here's the part most students never realize. Forgetting isn't a sign that you're bad at physics. It's a sign that your brain never built enough connections. So from this point on, every technique you're about to learn has one purpose: build stronger connections. So physics becomes something you understand instead of something you memorize. Here's the first technique. And honestly, if you master only this one, you'll already be ahead of most physics students. Every time you read a physics question, don't look for the formula first. Look for the movie. Close your eyes for just 2 seconds. Can you actually see what's happening? Can you imagine the motion? Because physics isn't about symbols. It's about objects moving, colliding, accelerating, slowing down, and transferring energy. Let's try a simple example. A box is pushed across the floor. Don't write anything yet. Just imagine the scene. Where is the force coming from? What's slowing the box down? Is it speeding up or moving at a constant speed? Notice what just happened. Without writing a single equation, your brain already understands most of the problem. Now, and only now, ask yourself, which equation describes this picture? See the difference? Most students memorize equations. Top students recognize situations. Starting today, every new physics problem gets the same routine. Picture first, formula second, math last. Do this consistently, and you'll be surprised how much faster physics starts making sense. Now let's move to the second technique, one used by Nobel Prize-winning physicist Richard Feynman. And it's probably the simplest learning method you'll ever use. The rule is simple. If you can't explain a physics concept to a 12-year-old, you probably don't understand it yet. Most students think understanding means recognizing the answer when they see it. But real understanding means creating the explanation yourself. Let's test it. Imagine someone asks you, why does an apple fall to the ground? Could you explain it without using complicated scientific words? If your explanation immediately becomes, because gravity creates gravitational acceleration, you've probably memorized the textbook, not the idea. Instead, try this. The Earth is so massive that it pulls nearby objects toward it. That's why the apple falls. Simple. Clear. Every time you struggle to explain something, don't feel frustrated. Celebrate it. Because you've just discovered exactly what you need to learn next. Top students don't hide their weak points. They hunt for them. Because every gap they fix makes every future problem easier. So here's your challenge. After every physics lesson, close your book, stand up, and teach that topic out loud. If you can teach it simply, you truly understand it. Now we're about to cover the technique that has been tested in thousands of learning studies. Yet most students still ignore it. Let me ask you something. After studying a chapter, what do you usually do next? Read it again? It feels productive, because everything looks familiar. But familiarity is not the same as learning. Your brain doesn't grow stronger when information goes in. It grows stronger when information comes back out. That's active recall. Close the book. Take a blank sheet of paper. Now write everything you can remember. Without looking, you'll probably forget a lot. Good. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. Because every struggle tells your brain, this information matters. Now compare your answers with your notes. Don't judge yourself. Simply fill in the missing pieces. But there's one more secret. Don't review everything tomorrow. Review it right before you're about to forget it. That's called spaced repetition. Review today, then tomorrow, 3 days later, 1 week later, then 2 weeks. Every review makes the memory stronger. Stop measuring your study session by how many pages you read. Measure it by how much you can remember. Without looking. That's the habit that separates average students from top performers. Now we've reached the point where most students panic, solving actual physics problems. But here's something you may not know. Top students don't solve problems faster because they calculate faster. They think differently. Every physics question, no matter how difficult, can be broken into 4 simple steps. Visualize. Identify. Connect. Solve. Step 1. Visualize. Before touching your calculator, turn the question into a picture inside your mind. Step 2. Identify. Ask yourself 3 questions. What information do I already know? What am I trying to find? And which physics concept connects the two? Step 3. Connect. Now choose the equation that matches your picture. Not the first equation you remember. The one that actually describes what's happening. And finally, Step 4. Solve. Now the math becomes the easiest part, because the thinking has already been done. Notice something interesting. The equation didn't solve the problem. Your understanding did. The equation simply confirmed it. This is exactly why 2 students can memorize the same formulas, yet only one can solve unfamiliar questions. One memorized equations. The other learned how to think. Here's a challenge for you. For the next 10 physics problems you solve, don't write the equation first. Draw the situation first. You'll be amazed how often the correct formula becomes obvious. Do this often enough, and something incredible happens. You stop searching for formulas and start recognizing patterns. That's the moment physics begins to feel easy. And that's the real goal. Not memorizing hundreds of equations, but training your brain to instantly recognize the story behind every problem. Here's the final technique, and it's the one that completely changed how I looked at physics. Stop studying physics only inside your textbook. Start seeing it everywhere. The truth is, physics isn't hiding inside equations. Physics is happening around you, every single second. When a basketball bounces, that's energy. When a bicycle speeds downhill, that's gravity. When a car suddenly brakes, that's inertia. The more examples you connect to one idea, the stronger that idea becomes inside your brain. That's why top students don't ask, which formula is this? They ask, where have I seen this before? Here's a simple habit. Every time you finish learning a new concept, find 3 real-life examples before moving on. Your memory will thank you later. This is exactly how scientists think. They don't memorize nature. They observe it. Then they explain it. The moment physics becomes part of your everyday life, it stops feeling like another school subject. It becomes common sense. And that's the biggest secret of all. The best physics students don't just study physics for an hour. They notice physics all day long. That's why they learn faster, remember longer, and solve problems with confidence. Before we finish, there are 7 mistakes that quietly destroy physics progress. Even smart students make them. Let's make sure you don't. Mistake number 1. Memorizing formulas without understanding where they come from. Mistake number 2. Watching solution videos without solving the problem yourself first. Mistake number 3. Skipping the questions you get wrong. Those questions are actually your best teachers. Mistake number 4. Cramming everything the night before the exam. Mistake number 5. Studying for hours without taking short breaks to recharge your brain. Mistake number 6. Thinking physics is about talent instead of training. And mistake number 7. Giving up too early. Every physics expert you admire was once confused by the exact same concepts. Let's put everything together. Here's a simple 7-day plan that you can start today. Day 1. Learn one concept. Draw it. Don't memorize formulas yet. Days 2 through 4. Teach the concept. Use active recall. Solve 5 to 10 problems every day. Days 5 through 7. Review your mistakes. Find real-world examples. Repeat the cycle. Week after week. You'll be amazed by how quickly your confidence grows. Remember, physics isn't about being born smarter. It's about building better ways of thinking. Once you stop memorizing everything and start understanding why things happen, physics becomes surprisingly simple. Tonight, don't try to study an entire chapter. Just pick one concept, visualize it, explain it, recall it. You'll already be learning differently from most students. If this video helped you see physics in a completely new way, hit the like button so more students can find it. Subscribe for more videos on studying smarter, mastering difficult subjects, and unlocking your brain's full learning potential. And in the comments, tell me, which physics topic do you struggle with the most? I read every comment, and it might inspire the next video. Thanks for watching, and remember, study smarter, learn deeper, see physics everywhere. I'll see you in the next one.